Okay, welcome back. This is lecture number 24 and we will still continuing our discussion on iterative methods. So, where we stopped in the last lecture is on the conjugate gradient, and today we are going to discuss on the slightly advanced version of conjugate gradient or a separate class of that kind of method called the biconjugate gradient. And why it is required? Because as we have seen in CG method, this is more for the symmetrical system, but practically the large systems that we solve as a linear system, they are non-symmetrical. So, once you have a non-symmetrical matrix, you need to do the transformation using the technique that we have used in the CG, and then the new process or the method is called as the BiCG. So, what we look at today is that in the BiCG approach, essentially you transform the symmetrical matrix or transform the non-symmetrical system to a symmetrical one by using CG or conjugate gradient method. So, here the process or the underlying phenomena will remain pretty much similar, but what happens, since all your realistic problems are asymmetrical in nature, they are not going to give you the symmetrical matrix. So, symmetrical matrix only the CG can solve symmetrical matrix. So, if you do not have a symmetrical matrix like a non-symmetrical or antisymmetric system, which is essentially the outcome of your realistic system, in that case CG cannot be applied. So, what you need to do, you need to this realistic system, you need to transform them to a symmetric one. So, essentially what you do, you first transform them to the non-symmetrical system to a symmetrical one, and then and the way it is done, so you introduce some sort of an dummy variable here. Our original system of equation is Phi equals to B. Now, you introduced a dummy variable which is phi hat, then the transformation takes place like 0 A transpose with phi hat phi equals to B 0. So, that is what you do that, and using this dummy variable you can, through this particular process, you can convert this unsymmetrical or system to a symmetrical one. Now, when you apply to this kind of system, this kind of transformation process, so the actual CG process goes or results into two sequence of CG like vectors. So, this is vector 1 and this is vector 2. So, theoretically this particular one splits into two different vectors which are looks like an CG vectors, and then the ordinary sequence based on the original system with the coefficient matrix A. From A you calculate phi, and from A transpose you calculate the dummy variable phi hat. Now, because of these two series of vector, the name has been coined as biconjugate gradient. Now, you have when you looked at the conjugate gradient, you have all the series of residual vectors, you have the direction vectors, like you have r, d and all sort of vectors. Now, once you form the bi-orthogonality of the residual in this system, in this method, that can be achieved by this kind of equation, like r hat at m transpose r n equals to r hat n transpose r m equals to 0, where m is less than n. Now, the biconjugacy of the search direction is fulfilled by the equation d hat n transpose a d m equals to d n transpose a transpose d hat m, which is again 0, where m is less than n. Now, further the sequence of the residuals and the search directions are constructed such that the ordinary form of one, which is orthogonal to the shadow form. So, this is the shadow form, the a hat form is the shadow form. The mathematically one can represent like r hat at the level n transpose d m equals to r n transpose d hat m, where m less than n. Now, this is how, now several variants of this particular method which has irregular convergence with the possibility of breaking down, and those are developed. Now, if you, this is the modification which come due to this shadow variable or the augmentation of this variable with the dummy variable phi hat, and then accordingly it will be change in the algorithm. So, if you look at the algorithm for biconjugate gradient, the algorithm gets now modified. So, what you do, you first choose starting direction. So, that is what the initial thing one has to do. So, choose the starting direction like d naught equals to r naught equals to d hat naught equals to r hat naught b minus a phi 0. Now, then you obviously you need to iterate starting at n till convergence. So, that one has to do. So, you have to iterate that till you get the convergence. Then next level you choose the factor in d direction. So, which will lead to calculation of the alpha. So, alpha n would be now r hat n transpose r n divided by d hat n transpose a d n. Now, then you obtain new phi like phi n plus 1 equals to phi n plus alpha n d n. Now, calculate new residual r like r n plus 1 equals to r n minus alpha n a d n. Similarly, you calculate the new residual r hat, which is like r hat n plus 1 equals to r hat n minus alpha n A transpose D hat n. So, using the dummy or shadow matrix A transpose, you get the. So, now it is time to calculate the coefficient to conjugate residual, and that is through beta n plus 1, which is going to be now r hat n plus 1 transpose r n plus 1 r hat n transpose r n, and then you can get new search direction, that is D, which will be D n plus 1 is r n plus 1 minus beta n plus 1 d n, and similarly you get the new search direction along the shadow variable, and that is D hat, which is going to be D hat n plus 1 equals to r hat n plus 1 beta n plus 1 d hat n. So, as you see the difference from the conjugate gradient here, the search direction, residual direction, these are now splitted into two different directions, and that is why it calls the BiCG. So, immediately one can see BiCG process takes the time, or the computational time is twice what CG takes because of this. Now, also as we have seen that for the conjugate gradient, that one can have preconditioned conjugate gradient, in this case also it is possible to have preconditioned by CG, which can actually improve the faster convergence, or which can improve the rate of convergence and make it faster. So, that is why sometimes it is preferred to use some kind of a preconditioning, and particularly for this case also you can have the preconditioned by CG, and the difference would come from the algorithm of the. So, this would be the preconditioned by CG algo, and again you need to start with the choose with the starting direction. So, choose starting direction. So, that means you calculate r naught r hat naught equals to b minus a phi naught and d naught equals to p inverse r naught and d hat naught equals to p transpose r hat naught. So, this is the difference. One can see immediately it deviates from the standard BiCG algorithm because of this preconditioning matrix. Now, you can iterate starting at n till convergence. Then the next level is to you choose the factor in d direction. So, factor in d direction. So, how do you find out that? It would be alpha n equals to Rn transpose P inverse Rn, then d hat n transpose A dn. So, that is how you get it. So, here if you see, because of this inclusion of the preconditioning system, it slightly deviate from the standard BiCG algorithm. Then you obtain the new phi such that phi n plus 1 equals to phi n plus alpha n and dn. Now, calculate R, the residual vector, which would be R n plus 1 equals to R n minus alpha n A dn, and also similarly calculate the R hat, which is the along the direction of the shadow variable. So, that will give us R hat n plus 1 equals to R hat n minus alpha n A transpose d hat n. Okay. Now, then as usual you need to calculate the coefficient to conjugate residual. So, which will get you beta n plus 1 equals to R hat n plus 1, that is transpose P inverse R n plus 1, then R hat transpose P inverse R n. Then you get the new search direction, that is one along the original system D, which would be d n plus 1 equals to P inverse R n plus 1 plus beta n plus 1 dn, and the along the d hat also. So, this would be d hat n plus 1 equals to P transpose R hat n plus 1 plus beta n plus 1 d hat n. So, that is what you get with the preconditioned system, and then it differs from the CG. So, when you apply the preconditioning matrix, so that makes the system better convergent. So, that is the idea of using preconditioning to. Now, by this time if you look at it, we have discussed and so many iterative methods, and always there are certain level of refinement with this process. Now, also there are some variants of BiCG algorithm, those are called CGS, which is conjugate gradient squared. It could be BiCG stab, that is another algorithm, or GEM race, generalized minimum residual process. So, there are different variants of BiCG algorithm which can be applied, but the baseline algorithm remain as we have discussed here, and this is with precondition and this is without preconditioner. So, this one is without preconditioner and this one is with P. And the other variant like CGS, BiCG stab, GMRAS, their baseline algorithm remains pretty much same. Now, only the modifications are done as per the system. Now, we talk about the thing is that we are talking about this iterative process or iterative methods, and we have discussed a different variants of iterative methods, starting from the simple one and till the BiCG algorithm with preconditioner. Now still the main concern remains the performance of an iterative method, performance in terms of stability, in terms of convergence rate. So always people look for this iterative process, how quickly it converges, so that you get the close to the exact solution, how stable is that, so that it does not lead to any spurious oscillation in the solution. Also the computational overhead, that means the cost or computing cost must be less. So these are the some performance parameter which always lead to the scientists and engineers to especially the applied mathematician to keep on working in this direction to get slightly improved methods on the iterative process. Now in that context, since we are talking about this convergence rate, and this specifically the convergence rate not only has to do with which class of iterative method one uses, also it deteriorates with the large A. If the scale or the system size increases, the convergence rate obviously deteriorates. So always there is an effort how to improve this convergence rate. So one approach is that one can adopt to some sort of an multi-grid approach. So which means what you do here, your computational grid is sort of get into a different level of refinement. One could be coarse, then it could be the medium, it could lead to the finer. So you can have solution from here, then interpolate here, get a solution here, or come back in these directions. So that is how you can improve the solution of the overall system at a much faster rate. So what one can think about, when you actually distribute the things in the different grid level and you get a solution, and then from there you move to the other grid level, so the convergence can be always improved. Now when you say that with that kind of approach one can improve that, now what happens when this kind of system, you see an example, some in a one dimensional grid, what happens to that? This is an picture which shows the error modes or different error modes in 1D grid. So what it does is that this is the different level of frequency or the wave frequency you could see, and these are the high frequency oscillation, this is high, and then if you come, this is much low frequency system or looks like an oscillatory system, low oscillatory system. Now what does that do? It's essentially, it is shown when you have two cores. So this is the high to low frequency oscillation which appear in the solution, and that also increases from coarse mesh to coarse grid to fine grid. So this is one thing that we keep on talking, that your grid refinement can have lot of impact on the solution, because not only from this kind of error point of view of the solution, once you refine the grid, your grid spacing reduces, that leads to, that reduces your truncation error, which is one of the major error or leading error in any numerical approximation. Now, in a coarse grid, you can see the high frequency of short wavelength lambda. These are the wavelengths. So, lambda here is the wavelength, and you can see that the high frequency of short wavelength lambda to low frequency of long wavelength lambda phi. So, this is how high to low you have moved, and they are shown in this, where high frequency errors essentially appears oscillatory over an element and easily sensed by the iterative methods. So, these are the errors which are sort of sensed by your linear solver. Now, frequency of the error also decreases as the lambda increases, and you can see the error becomes slowly, as your lambda increases, the error becomes smoother. So, here it is much more high frequency oscillation, slowly it is smoothing out, then it is smoothing out, and finally you get a much smoother profile, and this gets worse. So, error becomes increasingly smoother over the grid, as only one small portion of the wavelength lie within any cell. So, this gets worse as the grid is further refined, leading to high number of equations and explaining the degradation in the rate of convergence as the size of the system increases. So, one hand we talk about that we should have a grid refinement because that reduces the truncation error, but once you start refining the grid, the metric system, this will be A would be much larger and here A would be much smaller. So, this will also become a problem. So, this is where the multi-grid approach becomes handy to kind of take care of these things. And so, the multi-grid approach actually what it does, it improves the convergence rate of linear system. So, the whole idea behind that, because you see this kind of error which appears, and this has to do with grid and the solution procedure. So, what it does that one basic approach which is commonly known as is called the algebraic AMG, which is algebraic multi-grid method. So, that is what it stands for, AMG, algebraic multi-grid method. Now, this process is purely algebraic, that is why it is called the algebraic multi-grid method, and what it does is actually improves the convergence of your iterative solver. So, this improves the convergence of your iterative solver by ensuring that the resulting low frequency error that arise from the application of a smoother at any one grid level are transformed into higher frequency error at a coarser grid level. So, let me reiterate these things, it only improves the convergence, and what it does that what you achieve at the finer grid level, this is the finer grid level, one can see this is the finer, medium and coarse. So, the low frequency oscillation that arises at the final grid level, it is transformed to the high frequency oscillation at the coarser grid level, and that is why it ensures. So, it is a hierarchical approach from finer, medium to coarser, and able to multi-grid methods are able to overcome this convergence problem that you see when we go down to a finer grid level with a large system. So, this is how it used, and also this multi-grid method is quite robust and process is algebraic in sense. So, the way it is done through some agglomeration process. So, this can be used to build highly efficient and lower robust linear solver. So, in either of these process, a multi-grid cycling procedure essentially is used to guide the traversal of various grid hierarchies. So, this is final level grid, then the median level grid, then the coarser level grid. So, and it could be one can have another level of grid refinement if they want, but typically 3 layer of grid refinement works quite nicely for multi-grid system. And how it is done? The traversal process. The traversal process, it goes through different procedures of the process. It involves a restriction procedure first, then the setup or update of the system of equation for the coarse grid level. Okay. Then third is the application of a number of smoother iteration. So, you operate or do carry out some sort of an iteration to smooth out those issue. So, that is essentially the traversal process, and this process is only happening when you go from this direction. That means this is applicable, this process or the steps are applicable when you move from finer to coarser. Now, the reversal process, which is one can say it is a reversal process. So, there you need to do a prolongation procedure, that is number 1. Number 2, the correction of field value at the finer level. So, that is the correction of field value at the final level, and third, the application of a number of smoother iteration on the equation constructed during restriction, Okay. So, what one has to do, this is the reversal process, and this is applicable when you come down from this direction, that means coarser to finer. So, this is applicable C to F, this is C, this is M, this is F. So, one case you follow this step to go from this direction to that direction, that means you have a fine level of grid. From here you move to the medium level, medium to coarser level. So, these are the process one has to follow, and when you do the reversal, that means you get a solution at the coarser level, now translate back to the final level. So, what it does, if one can think about by looking at this picture and the procedure, is that you are getting a solution at different grid level. Maybe this F actually is your final grid level where you would like to obtain your solution, but then your iterative process will end up giving you some sort of an error, convergence is low. So, in order to improve that, you refine it to two different grid level, get your iterative solver, solve there, reduce your error due to iterative solver, translate back to the original level. Now, what one needs to do, it's essentially one has to do some agglomeration. So, this is called agglomeration or coarsening of the grid. So, that means this is my final level of grid F, which stands for finer. So, I am doing the coarsening level. So, F to C. So, here if you can see all these cells I1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they are merged to one particular cell from there to here. Then in between all these they move to that side, this side they move to here. So, essentially 4 to 6 elements in the final grid levels are sort of merged, and here you get 1, 2, 3, 4. So, you get an coarser level of grid. So, what essentially one needs to do is that first your coarsening is done. So, coarsening is initially done or carried out. That means from the finer grid level to the coarse grid level is generated. Then the fine level refinement is done. So, also one can use non-nested grids, which can be also used. So, but that case there is a problem that transferring information from one level to another level is quite expensive. That is why this kind of process has some limitations. Then you can go to finest mesh and get your solution done, and from there you do the coarsening and through this agglomeration process. But what happens is that these two coarsening process, I mean this is a process where you can first do coarsening and then move to F, or you can have non-nested grid where the information transfer is quite expensive. In both these two cases or the approaches, they do not allow good resolution of complex domain. So, when you first, essentially these two steps say that you can have first this coarser mesh and then you move to the finer mesh, or you can have non-nested grid, but in that case the transfer between these different level is quite expensive. In both these cases are not having very good resolution or accuracy of the solution when it goes to complex domain. But the other case, the third approach, where actually you first have a solution on the finer mesh and then you move to coarsening the process, that means you first get a solution here which will have so many elements, which solution must be quite accurate, but then you do the coarsening through agglomeration process, one level of coarsening, two level of coarsening, reduce all this error, get a solution towards the convergence, then you come back to get the final solution. So, and the coarsening done is that, I mean, it is done inside the code through some sort of a fusing of the multiple elements. As we have seen here, multiple elements are kind of merged together to get one element. Here this 5 got here, this 5 got here, these 4 here. So, this is how the process is done, and in that case, and one more thing, that any efficient agglomeration process. So, any efficient agglomeration process is the directional agglomerations is known as called directional agglomeration, okay, which was initially developed by Marvellis. So, this is what it says. Now, one can see the restriction step, and the coarse level coefficients. So, how one can obtain these things? So, where the important point here, the solution starts at finer grid level. So, that is the important point. So, after performing few iteration, the error is transferred or restricted to a coarser grid level, and the solution is found at that level. Then after performing few iteration at that level, the error is restricted again to a higher level, and the sequence of events is repeated. So, solution starts at final level, then you carry out some number of iteration, move to the coarser level, then carry out some level of iteration, and then go back and forth. So, this is how this done. So, if one has to put mathematically, then one can write a k E k equals to R k, where k stands for some level which denotes some level. So, where and the actual system that we are doing is F e equals to B, that is our standard system. Now, the next coarser level, which is at k plus 1, and the error will be restricted. So, let us say G I represents the set of cells I on the finer grid level, and that are agglomerated to form cell I of the coarser grid level at k plus 1. So, essentially these are set of cells at F level. So, F stands for fine, C stand for coarse, immediate level. So, which are agglomerated to form a cell I at the coarser grid level, which is at k plus 1. Then one can write that A k plus 1 E k plus 1 is the residual k plus 1. Now, the residuals here on the right hand side, which can be computed as R k plus 1 equals to I k plus 1 R k. So, this guy, this I k plus 1 is essentially the restriction operator, or the other way one can think about, it is an interpolation matrix, okay, an interpolation matrix from fine grid level to coarser grid level through agglomeration process. Agglomeration process. So, through that you do the transformation. Now, the AMG will solve for this residual and one can get Ri at k plus 1 equals to summation of I belongs to Gi Ri k. Then now the coefficient of the coarse element are constructed by adding the appropriate coefficients of the constituting fine elements. Then if you recall the linear system that we are solving in the discretized system is AC phi c plus summation of f NBC AF phi f equals to BC. Now, we can write at different grid level. This is our discretized equation. Now, we can write at different grid level. One can write AI k phi I k plus j goes to NBI Aij k phi j k equals to Bi k, and here NBI refers to the neighbor elements, okay, and then the residual can be computed, and so the residual one can compute like Ri k equals to Bi k minus Ai k phi I k plus summation of j equals to NBI Aij k phi j k. So, at k level one calculate this step. Now, phi I, where phi I at k plus 1 level denotes the solution on coarse mesh element I. So, then one can write phi I from k equals to phi I k plus 1 minus phi I k. Now, what it is expected, this correction to result must be 0 residual over the coarse mesh element I. So, the new residuals one can write as an R I tilde k equals to Bi k minus Ai k phi I k plus phi I prime k plus summation of j equals to NBI Aij k multiplied by phi j k plus phi j prime k. Or equivalently one can write this one Ri tilde k equals to Bi k minus Ai k phi I k plus j equals to NBI goes to Aij k phi j k. This is one component, and the other component one can write Ai k phi I k plus j goes to this Aij k phi j prime k. So, you take this out. So, this is nothing but your R I k. So, one can write this one as R I k minus A I k phi I prime k plus summation of j equals to n b I A I j k phi prime j k. So, this is what one can get the residual in this way. So, if you put them together, so if you enforce the residual sum I to be 0, then summation of I belongs to G I, which is R I k equals to 0. So, that enforcing the sum of the residuals 0. Now, if you substitute this one, this guy into here, then this essentially get you that this particular term, the R I k summation over I belongs to G I minus summation of I belongs to G I A I k phi I prime k plus summation of I belongs to G I summation of j belongs to n b I A I j k phi j prime k, which is essentially 0. So, just put this particular expression back to this one and you get this one 0. So, what happens is that you can rewrite this equation and one can see, if you rewrite that equation, then one can write A I. So, these are how A I k plus 1 phi I prime k plus 1 plus summation of j n b I equals to A I j k plus 1 phi prime j k plus 1 equals to R I k plus 1. So, here what is that A I k plus 1 is nothing but I belongs to G I A I small k plus summation of I belongs to G I summation of small j belongs to G I A I j k, a capital I j k plus 1 is I belongs to G I, small j does not belongs to G I, A I j k, and j belongs to n b I, and R I k plus 1 is nothing but I belongs to G I R I k. So, this one can see in the figure, this is one element and this is what the smoothing is done. So, this goes from here, then this is next level of these things and this goes to here, this is the third level, then you go back, you get this back, then you get this, then you move back to the system. So, one hand you come down this way, then you go back in this way. So, that is how you get the solution for this system. Now, The other step which could be used as the prolongation step and fine grid level corrections. So, the prolongation step or fine grid level correction, what you do that, it is the operator that is used to transfer correction from a coarser to a fine grid level. So, what you do, the error vector is I k plus 1 error k plus 1, and where this guy is the interpolation matrix from C to F. So, that is the interpolation matrix, and finally, the phi k can be obtained as phi k plus E k. So, the correction is basically obtained from the coarser level grid to the final level. Now, how it is obtained? You can see the graphically, this is your level, from there you move here, and then from there you move to this, then again you move back here, this will get you to this, from there you get the corrections done, and finally, so it goes like that. So, this is what the coarser grid level to finer grid level it is done. Now, the finally one thing which is called the traversal strategy and algebraic multigrid system. There are 3 different ways one can obtain this. The first one which shows essentially the V cycle, and the second one is called the W cycle, third one is called the F or full multigrid cycle. So, one case is the V cycle which is shown in this particular, and you can see this is my restriction step and this is how my prolongation step. So, at L0 to L1, L2, L3, L4. Similarly, these are L0, L2, L4. So, what happens, the usual practice is to perform few iteration at restriction phase and then to inject the residual to a coarser grid until you reach some coarser level of convergence. So, for very steep system, this V cycle is not at all not very good or not sufficient for accelerating the convergence of a iterative solver. So, to get a good convergence, you need more iterations at this V cycle. So, that is why the improved cycle is W cycle, which actually if you look at it, it applies multiple some sort of a V cycle of nested coarse and fine grid level sweeps through some complexity, because the complexity level is increasing as you move this, and the F cycle is essentially this is some variant of V plus W cycle. So, it is split into 2 different segments, some split as per the V cycle, some split is as per the W cycle. So, this has some very typical restriction that very steep system, this cannot be obtained very good convergence at the W. V cycle cannot get you good convergence with less number of iteration, there you prefer a W cycle, and the F cycle or full multigrid is the combination of both these two. So, that talks about all the iterative solver, and we will stop here today. Thank you.